Welcome, everybody. My name is Lindsay, and we've got a gentle yoga flow that will then lead us into a restorative practice for the latter portion of our class. So, for our restorative practice, it might be nice to have something like a bolster and some blocks nearby. If you don't have a bolster and blocks, you can always use some firm pillows or some rolled blankets. Um, the idea of our restorative practice being very, very gentle and relaxing. We use the props to help bring the floor to us so that we can rest and kind of melt into our props. But after we get warmed up, all right, so we will start in a comfortable seated position. We'll start just by connecting with our breath and feeling the sensations in the body. So we'll get ourselves firmly seated in through the root. Feel the sitting bones ground down into the floor. Draw the lower belly in, lengthen and lift through the spine. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. We'll take the shoulders a few rolls forward, up, back, and down. Noticing where you're experiencing any sensation, any tightness. And then we'll pause with the shoulders in the back and down position. We'll draw the chin down towards the chest, just taking a moment here, breathing in through the back of the neck. Great. And we'll start to rotate the right ear towards the right shoulder. Chin back to chest, left ear towards left shoulder. Continue to take these half circles at your own pace, stretching out the sides and the back of the neck. Moving nice and slow, just paying attention to what you're experiencing. And we'll start to find some stillness into the head. Lifting the gaze back up to neutral, we'll roll the shoulders again, forward, up, back, and down. Starting to pair our movements with our breath, bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, bring the knuckles underneath the chin, and squeeze the forearms together. As you inhale, lift the elbows up towards the sky, reaching those elbows up. And as you exhale, tilt the head back, side out, and squeeze the forearms together. Inhale, come back, bringing the chin to neutral, lifting the elbows up nice and high. Exhale, tilt the head back, side out, squeeze the forearms together. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful work. Bring the head back to neutral, lower the hands back down towards the lap, roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Great work. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. And we're going to exhale, press the arms out in front of us. Open them out towards the sides. Flip the palms, lift them up. So we're going to press the arms out in front of us, open them out wide, lift them back up, and press them down. So we're warming up in through the arms, waking up those shoulder joints, noticing where we are experiencing the movement of the arms. Where in the back, in the arms, in the chest, are we experiencing these movements? Notice if the lower belly is still slightly engaged, keeping the spine nice and long here. Great work. We'll take our last one here. Open and lift. Great job. Bringing the gaze back up towards the sky. As you exhale, cactus the arms out towards the side, spreading across the chest. We're going to tilt the fingers back. Inhale to lift the gaze up. Getting a little bit of a throat stretch, a little back bend, and then exhale, bring yourself back through neutral. Fingertips point towards the sky. Head gaze is neutral. Now we're going to work into our rotator cuffs, giving the palms a little rotation down towards the floor and then lifting the fingers back up towards the sky. We'll take that movement. Just again, feeling that sensation in through the shoulders, that rotator cuff, just warming up. Fantastic. We'll take our last 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Bringing the fingers back up. We'll draw the hands back to heart center. Fantastic. Bringing the hands back down towards the lap. Bring the chin again towards the chest. Bring the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Find that sweet spot on the left side of the neck. Taking any micro adjustments to help get the placement just right. Then as you're ready, extend the left fingers out towards the left side of the mat. Fingertips hover over the floor. Give yourself a little wiggle of the fingers. And then we'll start to draw some figure eights with those left fingers, left arm. Just allowing these to be the speed and the size that works best with that area that we're working into. Great work. We'll take our last little figure eight here, starting to pause that movement. And then we'll bend the left elbow, flex the left fingers up towards the sky, and start to press that left palm towards the left side of the room. Breathe here. Notice any stretching, any sensation. Great work. Slowly lower that left hand back down towards the lap. Draw the chin again towards the chest. And then bring the gaze back up to neutral. Take the shoulders and roll them forward, up, back, and down. A few times here. If you're in the cross-legged position, we'll give ourselves the opposite crossing of the legs. Go ahead and give the toes a little wiggle, roll out the ankles, a little movement, get that blood flow in down to the feet. Setting ourselves back up nice and tall, equally planted through the sitting bones, belly, jaws, and spine nice and long. We'll bring the chin again down towards the chest, working through the other side. Start to bring the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Find that sweet spot in through the neck. Then as you're ready, extend the right arm out towards the right side of the mat. Fingertips hover over the floor. Start to bring a little bit of wiggle into those right fingers. Starting to pause that movement, we'll take our figure eights with the right arm. Great work. Starting to pause those figure eights. We'll take a gentle bend in that right elbow, flex the right fingers up towards the sky, and as you exhale, press the right palm towards the right side of the room. Nice, slow, deep breath here. We'll exhale, slowly lower that right hand back down towards the lap. Bring the chin again towards the chest, and then rise the head back up through neutral. Roll the shoulders a few times, forward, up, back, and down. We'll pause with the shoulders in the back and down position. We're going to stretch in a little bit more through the arms and the shoulders, taking our seated eagle arms. So we're going to start by extending the right arm out in front of you, bending the right elbow, and we're going to wrap the left arm underneath. We're going to hook the two elbows around each other. So the hands may stay open like this, or you may start to bring the backs of the hands towards each other. All kind of depends on how you're feeling today. We're going to keep drawing the elbows down instead of the elbows up in front of the face. We want to pull kind of down, maybe even the back palms of the hands touch towards each other. Okay, great work. So take a moment here. And we're going to draw the chin down towards the chest, stretching in through the back of the neck. Some gentle movements of the head, nodding the head yes and no, or taking some half circles in the head. Bringing right ear towards right shoulder, left ear towards left shoulder. Great work. Starting to pause that movement. We'll bring the head back to neutral, lifting the gaze towards the palms. Now adding a little bit of a back bend here. As you inhale, we're going to tilt the arms up towards the sky, lift the gaze up towards the sky. Great job. As you exhale, keep the belly engaged. We're going to round ourselves down into a forward fold. So we're going to tuck these elbows in towards the belly, and we're going to round ourselves down just to your limit, just to your edge. Allow the head to be nice and heavy here, keeping the arms nice and bound, feeling maybe some stretch in through the back, the lower back, the arms, the shoulders. Nice deep breath. We'll draw the lower belly in, and slowly as you exhale, wind yourself back up. Nice and tall. Unwind the shoulders. Inhale, reach the fingers up towards the sky. And then exhale, draw the hands back down through heart center. Great work. Extend the left arm out in front of you. Bend that left elbow. Wrap the right arm underneath the left elbow. Draw the elbows down. Start to bring the backs of the hands towards each other, maybe the palms of the hands towards each other. Continue to draw those elbows down. Feel that stretch maybe through the shoulders. And then we'll bring the chin down towards the chest. Nice work. A little bit of movement in the head. Right ear towards right shoulder, left ear towards left shoulder, or maybe no movement into the head, just allowing the chin to draw down towards the chest. Maybe that's where you want to stay. Great work. We'll start to pause that movement. Lifting the head back up through neutral. We're going to take this into that back bend again. Inhale to lift the elbows up towards the sky, tilting the forearms towards the ceiling. Bring the head back. Bring engagement into the neck. Don't just let the head flop back. And then we'll draw the belly in and slowly get ourselves back in through neutral. And then coming into our forward fold. Rolling ourselves down, keeping those hands nice and bound. Softening, releasing, lowering yourselves. Just noticing where your edge is. Allow the head to be, again, nice and heavy. Nice, slow, deep breaths. We'll draw the belly back in, slowly lifting yourself all the way back up. Release the bind of the arms. This time, give the fingers a little twinkle up towards the sky, getting that blood flow into the arms. Lift the gaze back up towards the sky as you reach the fingers up. And then exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Great job. Bring the hands down to the knees. We're going to move into our barrel rolls. Swinging the torso around and back. Like we're using our torso to clean out the inside of a barrel. Rubbing the inside of a barrel. Again, noticing where you are experiencing sensations. Noticing the movement of breath in and out of the body. Okay, great. Let's take these in the opposite direction. Great. Starting to wind ourselves all the way back up. Nice and slow. Pausing our barrel rolls. Roll the shoulders again. Forward, up, back, and down. Great work. Let's uncross the legs. Plant the feet. We'll take 3 rounds of seated cat-cow. Inhale, push the chest forward. Lift the gaze up towards the sky. Exhale to round, bringing the gaze towards the navel. Inhale, push the chest forward. Lift the gaze up. Exhale to round. Last one, inhale. And exhale. We'll bring ourselves back up through neutral, and then we'll roll over the legs and come into our tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Shake out the tail from side to side a little bit here. Move the head, shake it out just a little bit. I'll start to come back into our stillness, planting down into our tabletop. Press into the palms, draw the belly in, feel the shoulder blades spread on the back of the body. Tuck your toes back behind you with the exhale, push the hips up towards the sky, coming into downward facing dog. Take a moment here, pedal the feet left and right. Allow the head to dangle, nice and heavy. Great work. We'll start to pause that pedal in the feet. Lift the gaze up towards the fingertips. As you exhale, rock into your plank pose. Bring the shoulders over the wrists, hips in line with the shoulders. Great job. Lower the knees down towards the floor. Bend the elbows, lower the chest all the way back down towards the floor. Taking that half push-up. Send yourself out nice and long. Hands come underneath the armpits. Inhale, push into the palms, find your low cobra. And exhale, lower yourself all the way back down. Hands press down into the floor, knees press down into the floor. As you exhale, push into the palms, rising back up into tabletop. Tuck the toes back behind you. With the exhale, push the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, maybe pedal the feet again, left and right. Great job. We'll start to walk the hands and the feet towards each other, and we'll meet up in our forward folds. Nice softness here in the knees. Nice stretch along the back of the body. You might grab opposite elbows here and enjoy a gentle sway from side to side if that feels nice. Hey, great work. Releasing opposite elbows, adding that gentle bend to the knees, squeeze the belly in, exhale, ragdoll yourself all the way back up to standing. Standing nice and tall, take a breath here, broaden through the collarbones, plant down in through the feet, extend the fingers down towards the floor, Tadasana mountain pose. Take a nice, slow, deep rounded breath here. Rounding. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, we'll draw the hands down through heart center. Go ahead and give the eyes a little close here. Take a moment to maybe create a dedication or an intention for today's practice. Creating our sankalpa, our heartfelt desire, using positive language in the present tense. Excellent. We'll keep that sankalpa in mind as we are moving through our practice today. We'll blink the eyes back open, releasing the fingers down towards the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Hinging from the hips, lowering all the way back down. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to bend the knees enough that we can walk the hands and the feet back out into our long plank pose. Take it nice and slow here. Get yourself set up. So shoulders over the wrists, legs extend out nice and long. Keep the belly engaged. Draw the belly in. As you exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows, lower the chest all the way back down towards the floor. Hands underneath the armpits. Inhale, press into the palms, low cobra. Lift up, gaze up. Exhale, lower the chest back down towards the floor. Keep the knees planted. As you exhale, push into the palms. Rise yourself back up to table, tuck the toes, push the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Beautiful work. Stretch here. Feel the stretch through maybe the backs of the legs. Feel the shoulders press back. Keep the belly drawn in. Take another round of breath here. Now we'll start to walk the hands and the feet towards each other, again, meeting up into our forward fold. Nice softness in the knees, maybe again, grabbing opposite elbows just for a moment, dangle it out. Then we'll release opposite elbows, bringing the palms towards the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway, lengthening out the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise yourself all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Great job. We'll take that again. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Gentle bend to the knees. Plant the hands on the floor. Walk yourself out. Walking the hands forward, legs back, coming into our plank pose. Wrists over, or wrists under shoulders, hips in line with the shoulders. Breathe here. And exhale, lower yourself down to the floor, either planting the knees first or keeping the knees lifted, taking the full push-up, lowering yourself all the way down, down, down onto the floor. As you inhale, push into the palms, rising up into our low cobra. And exhale, lower the chest all the way back down towards the floor. We're going to push back again into the palms. You can either keep the knees planted or lift the knees up off the ground, tucking the toes behind you. We're going to lift ourselves all the way back up and then popping up into our down dog, pushing those hips up and back. So either you stopped in table to get yourself set up or you just lifted yourself up into your downward facing dog. Fantastic work. Take a breath here. Fantastic work. Walk the hands and the feet towards each other, meeting up again in our forward fold. Softening and releasing. Just allow yourself a moment to dangle. Then we'll bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise yourself all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. We'll take one more sun salutation before we move into our restorative practice. Inhale, lift the arms up, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Place the hands on the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Walk the hands and the feet out nice and long, coming into our plank pose. As you exhale, make your way onto your belly, bending the elbows, either keeping the knees lifted or lowering the knees down. With the next inhale, push into the palms. Rise up for your low cobra. Exhale to lower yourself back down. Making our way back up into downward facing dog, either keeping the knees planted, passing through table and lifting up, or tucking the toes, pressing into the palms, lifting the knees, exhaling to rise up, do that push-up, push the hips up towards the sky. Fantastic work. Take 3 rounds of breath here in our downward facing dog. Nice, slow, deep breaths. At the bottom of your next exhale, start to walk the hands and the feet again back towards each other, meeting up in our forward fold. Place the hands on the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise ourselves all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come back down through heart center. Wonderful. Take a moment here with the hands at heart center, feet rooted down into the floor, standing tall. You might close the eyes again and just notice that movement of energy, that blood flow, the rate of the heart, the rate of the breath. Checking in with the sensations of the body. Reconnect with your dedication or your intention. Great work. We'll blink the eyes back open. Extend the fingers back down towards the floor. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Great job. We'll take the legs out nice and wide onto the mat and move into a wide-legged forward fold before we start our restorative practice. Hands come down onto the hip, lengthen out the spine, feel nice and tall here. And as you exhale, begin to hinge forward from the hips, keeping the belly engaged and the spine nice and long. Slowly, slowly, slowly lowering yourself down. You might reach the hands down towards the floor, down towards the legs. You might grab opposite elbows if that feels nice. Allow yourself just a moment here to lengthen out. And then I invite you, wherever the hands are, whatever the bind is or non-bind, we're going to start to bring the torso over towards the right leg. So if the hands are on the legs, you can use that leverage to bring the torso over towards the right, or you can walk the hands along the floor towards the right leg. Great job. Bring the hands back through center, torso back through center, then start to move over towards the left side, using either the bind of the legs or walking the hands along the floor. Excellent work. Coming back through center. From this forward fold, we're going to heel toe the feet towards each other a few times. So just making a little more narrow forward fold with the legs, just heel toeing them a little closer. We're going to start to bend nice and deep into the knees. I'm looking like this, nice and deep, until you can start to place the hands down on the floor. We're going to lower ourselves all the way down, down, down. Take it nice and slow. Use the hands to help you come all the way down onto the floor. Take your time. Ease yourself down. Great work. Start by extending the legs out nice and long when you get down onto the floor. I will point and flex the toes. Okay, fantastic. Little roll of the ankles, a wiggle of the tootsies. And we'll start to get ourselves set up for our first restorative practice. So for this first posture, I'll be using 2 blocks and a bolster. If you're working with pillows and blankets, ultimately what we're going to do is build ourselves a little ramp here with our props. So if you've got the blocks, one on the medium, one on the high. And we'll place this so it's a little sturdy. You can kind of push into it and not tip it over. If you're working with pillows and blankets, you'll just stack them so you have a little bit of a ramp. So we're going to take a wide-legged supported fish posture. So we'll bring the hips down to the bolster. I'm sitting on the ground, but my hips are supported back behind me, can touch the bolster. Now I'm going to help myself slowly lower down onto the bolster or pillow or blankets. As you get into this position, you might find that an extra little support underneath the head might feel nice. Notice the arms. If the arms feel like they're not able to rest fully by being placed on the ground, you might, again, bring a little bit of support underneath the arms to avoid any gripping in the forearm or gripping across the chest. Yeah, that feels really nice. I'm going to do that with the other arm. And we'll take a moment here to get set up in our posture. And a little reminder about our restorative practice is that we want to be as comfortable as possible. So kind of that merit of it's got to like burn, or you got to feel like muscle engagement or strain. Not in our restorative practice. We want to get as comfortable as possible. So we get ourselves set up through the chest, through the back, and get our head supported if that feels beneficial to us. The arms might feel supported. And then as you've got the upper body set, you can start to extend the legs out at a big V shape. Allow the toes to open out nice and wide. So we're going to take a few moments here in this supported fish posture. You might choose to bring the palms towards the sky as the forearms rest. Or if that doesn't feel completely comfortable, allow the arms to kind of settle and rest to avoid any gripping through the chest. And we're going to begin to slow down our breath. Start by noticing the breath that is within your body right now. Mentally begin to count the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale. Now that you have that count of the breath, we're going to start to lengthen out the breath, allowing the inhales to be just a little bit slower, longer. And the exhales to become, again, a little slower, a little longer. Continue to press the limit of the breath. Keep the face nice and smooth as you continue to lengthen out the breath. All the while, count the length of the inhale and the exhale, watching how it expands over time. The more we practice this expansion of the lungs, the better we become at larger, deeper breaths, allowing for more fresh oxygen to come into our lungs, to go into our bloodstream, and to heal the body. I will lead us through 3 rounds of Viloma 3-part exhale. So our Viloma breath is a full, deep inhale, the brief pause at the top, followed by an exhalation of 1/3 of the breath, 2/3 of the breath, and then the rest of the breath, followed by that full, deep inhale. We'll take those 3 times in order to really settle into the nervous system. So we'll start by exhaling out fully all of our breath. Inhaling fully, fill the belly, fill the chest, pause at the top, exhale 1/3, exhale 2/3, exhale completely. Inhale fully through the nose. Pause at the top. Exhale 1/3. Exhale 2/3. Exhale completely. Last round, inhaling fully through the nose. Pause. Exhale 1/3. Exhale 2/3. Exhale completely. Begin to come back to your slow, steady rate of breath. I'm going to invite you to take a full body scan, moving the mind through the body, visiting every area and just mentally making contact with that area and assessing if there are any sensations with no qualifiers of good or bad, just noticing what those sensations are and where they are. But being systematic with the movement, so not hopping from sensation to sensation, but moving from the crown of your head all the way down to the tips of the toes, checking in with all the different areas. We'll start to make our way out of this posture. Begin to wiggle the toes and the fingers, waking ourselves back up. And start to bend the knees, planting the soles of the feet. And grabbing onto the legs, the thighs, we'll draw the belly in and slowly lift ourselves up off of the prop. We'll take a moment with the spine nice and long here. Knees bent, feet planted. Grabbing on behind the backs of the thighs, we'll take 2 rounds of seated cat-cow. As you inhale, tilt the chest forward, lift the gaze up. And as you exhale, round. Inhale to tilt the chest forward, lift the gaze up. And exhale to round. Wonderful work. We'll come back through neutral spine. We're going to start to move into our second restorative posture. We'll be taking deer pose using the same setup with the props. So maybe moving the blankets off to the side if you have those there. We'll start with the left thigh coming to the base of the bolster. So I'm just going to rotate myself so that the left thigh presses against the base of the bolster. I've got the legs kind of staggered here, a little more comfortable for me. And I'll start to rotate from the torso, drawing the belly in, rotating myself around, bringing the collarbones starting to line up with the bolster. And as we're ready, we'll start to drape ourselves down over the bolster, lowering the torso down. So we're getting a twist here and a stretch in through the hips. Lowering the torso down. Again, if the blankets underneath the arms is comfortable to help release any gripping, you can just adjust those and bring them underneath the forearms, or maybe you've got an extra pillow. Maybe you're, maybe you don't need them. Also, coming to rest on the left cheek. Take a minute to get yourself completely set up. Maybe some of the glute meat might have been pinched as you made that transition to lowering down. So give yourself a moment. Go ahead and get yourself settled up. We're going to hold each side for 7 minutes. So we want to get nice and comfortable here. As you feel the shoulders, the chest, the back, the head, all coming into a comfortable kind of position, you might choose to extend the right leg out nice and long onto the floor. So you've got the left leg bent up against the bolster and the right leg extended. Or maybe choosing to keep the right knee bent as well. And we'll start to take some nice, slow, deep breaths as we settle in here. Allow yourself permission to make any adjustments, any fidgets or wiggles that help you just become a little bit more comfortable. As we rest in these longer positions, if you find the mind just as having a hard time slowing down and enjoying the stillness of this practice, we have a few different tools that we can implement in order to still the mind, to keep it just a little more calm. We can come back to our intention and our dedication, our sankalpa, repeating that phrase to ourselves. You might spend some time daydreaming about that dedication or that intention, your sankalpa. Staying positive with it and imagining what all the senses might experience when that sankalpa, that dedication or intention, comes to fruition. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you touch? What do you taste? What sounds do you hear? Allow yourself a few minutes here just to daydream about that sankalpa. Allow it to feel good in you. Don't think about the obstacles in order to get there. Skip over all that stuff and just make it to the place where it's already completed. Again, revisit the senses of that completed sankalpa. Notice if the mind wandered off again. And without any judgment, just gently bring it back to that daydream. Begin to bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers and your toes. Take a nice deep breath here. With the help of the hands, we'll slowly begin to press ourselves up off of our prop and unwind. We'll again plant the feet, lifting the knees up towards the sky. Grabbing on behind the backs of the thighs. We're first going to draw the chin down towards the chest here, just stretching out through the back of the neck. Bringing the right ear towards the right shoulder. Chin back to chest. And then left ear towards left shoulder. Chin back to chest. We'll take a round of seated cat-cow. Inhale to lift the chest up, lift the gaze up. And exhale to round, feeling the shoulders spread, the belly draw in, chin towards the chest. And we'll inhale to rise ourselves all the way back up. We're going to take deer pose on the other side. You can keep your setup where it is. You can just swing yourself around and bring the right thigh to the base of the bolster. I'm going to set this up on the opposite side just so I can keep looking at the camera. Give yourself all that time you would like to get yourself, again, just completely comfortable. There are other yoga practices where, we do want to feel sensation, where we do want to feel a stretching or muscle engagement. But in restorative, we want to be as comfortable as possible, like we could almost fall asleep. In fact, if you do fall asleep, that's great. Your body is resting deeply, moving into its parasympathetic nervous system, our rest, digest, and heal system. Now, if you would like on this side, you can come back to your dedication, your intention, that visualizing of the daydream, all the details, staying with that nice kind of floaty feeling. Or you might choose to follow the breath in through the left nostril, in through the left lung, out through the right lung, out through the right nose. Visualizing that cycle of breath, the in through the left side, down into the lungs, and out on the right side. You might scan the body for any area that can just become a little bit more comfortable, giving yourself permission just to soften and release. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Feeling comfort and peace just wash over you. And start to make our way back up again, finding a little wiggle into the fingers, waking ourselves back up, pushing in through the palms, slowly lifting yourself all the way back up. We'll plant the feet again. Find that movement into the head, little half circles. Starting to pause the movement into the head. We'll take a seated cat-cow, one round. Inhale, shine the chest forward, lift the gaze up. Exhale to round, bringing the gaze towards the navel. Inhale, rising yourself back up. For this next restorative posture, we won't need our bolster, so we can just place it off to the side. We'll be taking a supine tree pose. So having a block or a pillow towards the right side of the mat can be helpful. If you would like a little more opening in through the chest, I invite you to prop the chest up either with some pillows or some rolled blankets like I have. This is also nice, maybe a little bit of a lift if you ever experience some discomfort or tightness in the lower back when you're laying down on your back for a long period of time. So just a few options there. So my rolled blankets, I'm going to keep those down by the back in order to support my head and my shoulder. And you can use, again, props or no props underneath the back, but we do want to have something over here by the right leg. And then lower ourselves down onto the floor. My blankets are supporting just my shoulders and my head, giving me a nice opening through the chest. If you'd like a little bit more, maybe it runs all the way down towards the tailbone. Or maybe there's no prop or no support for the head and the chest. Yogi's choice. We'll start to extend the left leg out nice and long onto the floor. Allow the left leg to be nice and soft. And with that right knee bent, we're going to slowly start to open the right knee out towards the right side of the mat. And we're going to place a block underneath that right knee or a pillow underneath that right knee, just to support the leg a little bit. As we sit in this pose a little longer, you might choose to scooch the block out towards the knee or just remove the block entirely. But as we get set up, let's be nice and supportive of that knee. And we'll take a moment to settle in, maybe tucking the tailbone just a little bit. Arms can find a comfortable placement. They're out to the sides, if they're resting on the chest and the belly. Just finding a comfortable place to let the hands rest. We'll stay in this posture for 6 minutes. And you can allow the eyes to close. At any time, if you find that you would like more or less propping underneath the chest or underneath the knee, you're welcome to make those adjustments. Please don't feel like you have to suffer through any discomfort in our restorative practice. You'll again start to lengthen out the breath. If you start to notice thoughts moving into the mind and starting to disrupt your peace, you might imagine that you could take these thoughts and place them just on a little leaf and let that leaf fall into a slowly moving creek, letting the thoughts get washed gently away. Slowly, gently bring a little bit of movement into the toes. The help of the right hand will lift the right knee back up towards the sky, and then bend the left knee so both knees point towards the ceiling. We'll begin our transition over to the other side. So you can bring your pillow or your block over to the left side of the mat. If you've had the chest elevated for the first side, you might choose to lower the chest down. If the chest has been on the ground, you might choose to find a little bit of lift for the second round. Feel free to make any adjustments in this position, either to explore of what it feels like to have it slightly different, or to come back to what you knew felt good on the first side. Getting yourself set up, get yourself nice and comfortable, extend the right leg out nice and long, and then we'll slowly open that left knee out towards the left side of the mat. Block underneath that left knee, arms, wherever it feels comfortable. Maybe a little tuck of the tailbone to help lengthen out the lower back. Let your thoughts float down and away on that slow moving creek. We'll start to bring a little bit of movement back into our fingers and our toes. Taking a nice deep inhale, stretching the arms up overhead. And helping that left knee back up, drawing the right knee back up. We'll draw the knees again into the chest, giving ourselves a nice big hug, squeezing the knees in. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. We'll make our way over onto our side body, resting in a fetal position. Using the support of the arms to help elevate the head gently. Take a moment here to offer yourself some words of gratitude. Well, thank you for prioritizing your health and your wellness today. As you're ready, you can slowly, gently help yourself back up into a comfortable seated position. Eyes can stay closed to the gaze softly lowered. Running that length through the spine, the softness into the shoulders. Feeling into the physical body. The mental body. And the emotional body. We'll take an inhale together, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. Thank you so much for your practice today. May our practice be a benefit to all beings. Namaste.